The Bard's Tale is an isometric RPG title released for the Xbox, PS2, and various other platforms. It was released on October 26, 2004, and developed by In Exile and published by Vivendi Universal Games. The Bard's Tale follows our hero, the Bard, a full-of-himself lute player trying to make money by playing in various taverns all over the country, but quickly gets wrapped up into more and more dangerous quests that ultimately has him going to rescue a princess. Not too many negatives this time around, but I did manage to find a few nitpicky things to talk about. First up, the combat in the game does work for what it is, but I did have a few issues. Many of the enemies have an area of effect around them when they attack, so if they're attacking one of your minions and you try to attack from behind, there's still a very large chance that you will get hit anyway and get knocked back. And second, it is quite easy to get overwhelmed by the number of enemies at once, making you have to run away, heal up, resummon, and come back. Something I felt they could have done a little bit better is the melee and ranged combat. Both of them just end up pressing A a whole bunch of times with the occasional B to block. Combat just felt a little flat. I have enjoyed single button combat before in other games such as Fable, but in Bard's Tale it just didn't really work out. Graphics were nice and highly detailed with plenty to interact with and see. I was actually pretty impressed that the Xbox could pull off this kind of look. It was really nice. I love the idea of playing a bard and being able to summon various minions to tackle different situations. You are able to summon all kinds of special creatures to aid you that can tank, heal, do ranged and melee DPS, and plenty of other creatures with other uses as well. This made the game quite enjoyable to test out all kinds of different strategies to attack your foes.
Well now, you must be the bard that everyone's been talking about, the fellow with the spider made of lightning. It's honored I am to have you in my shop, sir, and happy to facilitate all your arms and armament needs. Swords, bows, or armor, everything here is first rate and for sale. Terms of cash in advance, in full, all sales final with no letters of credit, layaways, or IOUs. We do have a buyback policy. If you buy it, don't bring it back. Haha. So look over what you want and I'll be happy to cover the finer points of any item I have in stock, but remember the golden rule, you break it, you buy it.
Gear in this game is pretty plentiful, and it all seems to be represented on your character, which is nice. You will find various types of melee and ranged weapons, shields, armor, and instruments that will aid you in your journey. Many of the gear pieces do have substats as well, such as a flail having a chance to stun, and a bow that might have fire arrows. The instruments are one of the main things being a bard, and you want to keep an eye out for them because the better the instrument you have, the more minions you can summon at once.
Oh my lord! I don't believe it. I truly don't believe it. Do my eyes deceive me?
One can only hope.
So much for peaceful and quiet.
The characters in this game are hilarious and overall great to interact with. From the trolls to the random singing goblin creatures and even the narrator himself, it was all an enjoyable experience to talk and interact with everyone. I love games that give you the option on what to say and what to do, and The Bard's Tale, they give you some options on whether you want to be mean or nice to the person you're talking to, letting you have that little bit more freedom in a game to play the way you want. I love the idea of playing a bard in a game, whether MMO or otherwise, so the name alone caught my eye for this game. I figured it did have something to do with music, but little did I know that this game is full of excellent songs. Most other developers would have put probably 3 or 4 throughout the game, but In Exile put well over 10 plus. From the tavern songs to the little goblin creatures who come up to you, the music is superb.
Got it.
What had passed between poor deceased Bove and the bard was anyone's guess.
He asked me to get my knee off his chest.
Ah.
Then he told me the location of the mountain pass. I'm on my way.
By far the best thing about this game is the huge amount of humor packed into the story and events. Just about every encounter involves some sort of witty line or snarky comment from the narrator, the NPCs, or the bard himself. In the end, I can't recommend The Bard's Tale enough. Even though the combat was a little bland, the neat mechanics of summoning minions, the music, and the humor throughout the game carried it from start to finish. I can't count the number of times that I busted up laughing at the story or the relationship between the bard and the narrator. The Bard's Tale is something you should definitely pick up and give it a shot. The game is currently selling for around $7 and it's worth every penny.
What a strapping man you are, to be saving me from that wee beastie.
I happened to be wandering by when I heard your cries over the rumbling of my empty belly. You aren't hurt, are you?
No, but aren't you the sweet one for asking? Say, I've an idea. If you'd be willing to do a little job for me, I'd give you a good meal and a warm place to lay your head for the night.
I'd be only too happy to handle anything you'd like to heave my way.
Then it's a deal, for it's a wee rat problem I've got in me cellars, and if you could do away with them, I'd be ever so thankful.
Rats, you say? In the cellar? How cliché of you, love. But I'll forgive you this once.
You'll need a bigger sword than what you've got, in case you run into trouble.
Oh, and my sword is quite big enough to handle any troubles you might have.